people like Ricada and Umbrella Guy and Legal Bites, who 2 of the 3 are lawyers, right? And they were covering that trial. How can we take what you're telling us about misinformation seriously?
So you're pissed about something, huh? You know what I do when I'm angry? I just play some Bach on my flute. It's so relaxing. I learned to do that at band camp. And one time, at band camp, we weren't supposed to have pillow fights, but we had a pillow fight, and it was so much fun. And this one time, we all lost our music, and we were supposed to play the song, but we didn't know it. So we just made it up, and we kept playing, and the conductor didn't know what we were doing, and it was so funny. And one time, at band camp,
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. Happy ending up for the 4th of July weekend, so news will be kind of slow over the next couple of days, but I'll still be here grinding it out for you. Now, everyone knows my favorite senior citizen, Taylor Lorenz, and her incredible string of very public L's over the past couple of months has been just delicious. A woman born of extraordinary privilege. Being an internet hall monitor is all she ever did with all that amazing wealth she was born into. A true disappointment, I'm sure, for her parents and for the system in general. But this is the path the elderly woman has chosen. And she just got humiliated again. Now, if you've been following the case, of course, you know there's been a string of ridiculous L's for Taylor, including the very public, I don't know what you really call it, massive, I mean, like embarrassment. When you had, just a month ago, you had, YouTubers. She wrote an article, a hit piece, about YouTubers who were making too much money. That's, my opinion of her article, but it seems to reason that many of her articles are just salty jealousy pieces, in particular against other women, in many cases other women, which is, I guess, not that surprising. But Taylor does seem to have some other issues with much younger, much more successful people. I guess there's probably this deep-rooted insecurity when you're born into as a multi-millionaire with a silver platinum spoon in your mouth your whole life, and you get this job that has like a veneer of making a difference, getting out there and being somebody. But in reality, all you are is an internet hall monitor. And 3 weeks ago, she wrote this ridiculous hit piece against fellow YouTubers that completely exploded in her face, having not one, which was a stealth edit, but then 2 continuing follow-up edits to her article that essentially she pitted all the people inside the Washington Post against each other, trying to blame everybody else. After that, of course, she went on to dox Libs of TikToks. And you see this article in Fox News just a few days ago. Libs of TikTok says Washington Post Taylor Lorenz is responsible for unnerving post-doxing threats. Now, I think that it's a slippery slope because people are responsible for their own actions. And the people that sent them are the ones that are ultimately responsible for those issues and should pay for that in some way, shape, or form. But make no mistake, the 73-year-old Lorenz purposely put that information out there as a form of intimidation. It was not a mistake that it was in the article. It was purposeful. It was to silence somebody that was speaking out against the mainstream narrative. You could see the woman behind the social media sensation, Libs of TikTok, is always nervous going out in public after receiving just vile comments following a Washington Post story that publicly identified her, and she holds a paper responsible. I would too. I mean, ultimately what she's saying here is, the Libs of TikTok is saying, is the hit piece, the article, its intended purpose was fulfilled. Its intended purpose was to intimidate her into silence, to make her afraid, to make her stop posting. And now this woman who just reposts in their full context videos of other people on TikTok, giving them essentially free promotion, now has to live her life in fear because Taylor Lorenz, you'd think somebody that old would have built some perspective over their lives. I remember when my grandmother was her age, she was very accepting and understanding and kind of laissez-faire, happy to just still be around and have some relative semblance of her health. I'm surprised now that Taylor is much older than her that she still hasn't achieved that. But of course, earlier this month, Libs of TikTok, who says she's now regularly threatened, shared a screenshot of a Twitter user who messaged her that something terrible is going to happen and urged her to end herself. Billionaire Elon Musk, who's in the process of buying Twitter, rebuked the social media platform in response, tweeting that it did nothing to protect her from these threats. Musk asked Twitter why they weren't restricting the accounts accused of sending them, and later surmised that the platform might be biased towards, quote, half the country. Musk's tweets generated a wave of response in the platform, including support from conservatives and ire from liberals. Twitter eventually suspended a variety of accounts that made these threats to the Libs of TikTok, following only after Elon Musk got involved, according to screenshots shared by the user. Now, we know that, none of this is any kind of surprise, right? Taylor Lorenz is a liar. She's, on record being caught lying multiple times. Last weekend, she attended VidCon, where she showed up. I also thought it was funny that she shared a Drama Alert article, but that's neither here nor there. Taylor Lorenz went to VidCon, where she spoke on several panels, 3, I believe, in total, and had a grand total of 7 people, rough estimate, attend those panels. One of the panels, she was even late to her own panel, showing a lot of respect for the people that, according to her, put their lives at risk just to hear her speak. Now, June 26th, Taylor wrote, VidCon took 0 steps to mitigate or prevent the coof, and now countless of top influencers, along with hordes of attendees, are sick. She continues. VidCon's decision not to even remotely try to mitigate/prevent the coof has very predictable results. Thinking of all the high-risk workers and staff who continue to be put into these situations because event organizers can't be bothered to take basic safety measures. 15,000 likes. Except, here's the thing. Taylor Lorenz is a big fat liar. Here's VidCon's tweet. Review our coof health and safety guidelines before entering. You must provide proof of the poke or a negative test taken within 72 hours. Masks are not required, but recommended, showing the hours. And then you could go to a lengthy page talking about their policy. The health and safety of those attending the con event is our first priority. As a result of blah, 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 unprecedented times, it's never going away, blah, 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 blah. We are implementing protocols as required by federal, state, and ordinance. You have all this stuff here. If you get sick or whatever, you can get a refund. Again, they had plenty of things in line. And there's a reason that this journalist, high-paid journalist for the Washington Post, previously the New York Times, by the way, the New York Times being sued over a piece that she wrote, doesn't correct it. This is why she says only people that she follows or mentions can even reply. This is just an outright lie. But all her lunatic for stay safe. So he says, what protection measures did you take? Interested in hearing your strategy for avoiding the spread at a large event like that. I've gotten good at avoiding the coof at work with our limited contact, wondering how it works at large social events, blah, 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 blah. Literal NPC icon. I'm assuming this is a troll. She replies, I'm high risk. Now, if she is high risk, I don't know. I can't say one way or another, but what I can say is she is a habitual liar. So, I guess being elderly does make you high risk. So I suppose that's a thing. So I stayed in a motel where I could keep the windows open, not interact with anyone as I came and left, kept an N95 glued to my face, skipped the big parties, but she did go to parties, obviously. She's not a pleb. Didn't attend any sessions except the 3 required of me. Stayed outside the whole time, didn't do any one-on-one meetings, and more. Well, she in fact did do several one-on-one meetings. In fact, she's been tweeting endlessly over the past couple of days, trying to do even more one-on-one meetings at another weird Aspen, Colorado convention. And the reason you restrict these, obviously your tweets, is because you don't want anyone like, I don't know, me coming in there and linking the restrictions that YouTube had at VidCon. By the way, at no point did she apologize for disrespecting all of the people that took the insane risk, as she would probably put it, to attend this event and spend time with her. I don't know why, but I suppose as she's getting up there in years, you don't really want to miss those times. I remember my grandma was in her 80s. I made sure that I always went out of my way to stop by and visit her. I would go there with my wife. We'd stop by anytime we were in town because, time comes for us all. So people probably really wanted to go out of their way to make sure that they got that kind of one of those last chances to see her face to face. And the 6 or 7 people that showed up, they risked it all, according to her. And all of them absolutely had to be there. They weren't there by their choice. They had to be there. And so it's VidCon's fault, even though they had a COOF policy, even though they required people to be poked up or have a negative test to enter. That wasn't enough, apparently. She wanted them handing out personal bubbles to everybody that came in. I don't know. This journalist, quote unquote, I hope she has a very long career, because she is a stunningly perfect example of everything wrong with modern journalism. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.